Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Jutras here. Today, Rio and I and Mrs. Mapula are gonna make some woodland animals. What you'll need is a recycled toilet paper roll. You can also use a recycled paper towel roll. You'll need scissors and any coloring supplies of your choice. Oil pastels works really well. You could use paint or markers. And optional to use hot glue if you want to add some accessories to your animal or your evergreen tree. The first thing you'll want to do is to outline your animal or your evergreen. Here are a few examples. In the first example, you can separate the head from the body from cutting little triangle incisions in the side of your toilet paper. Make sure you make the head a little bit smaller than the body. Then you'll fold in the top and glue it to create some ears. This makes a great owl or a fun fox. The other option in the middle is to create some leaves for an evergreen tree. You can draw little triangles outward to create some leaves for your tree and cut out each side accordingly. In the third picture, we have the same cutout of cheeks, but this time we're cutting out the cardboard to create some ears in the top of the head. These are just a few of the examples that you can do. Remember, as an artist, we are creative and we use our imagination. Now watch us outline our evergreens and our creatures. Rio and I started with our evergreens. We took paper towel rolls and determined how tall we wanted our trees, and then we cut our paper towel roll accordingly. Then we pushed down our paper towel roll so it'd be easier to draw on and created our branches. Now we created branches on each side, and I actually folded mine into fourths to cut it, but if I were to do this again, I would have just drawn triangles right on top of each other straight down and then cut out the negative space. Miss Mapula is starting with her creature now. She's drawing some ears and the top of a head. She's now determining how big she wants her head. She's going to draw little curves to determine the cheeks and the bottom of the chin. Remember, you want your head smaller than your body. Now I'm doing a fun shape. Rio and I decided to create a porcupine. So I'm doing a long nose of the porcupine, but I want to make a little bit of space because I don't want to cut the toilet paper roll all the way there. I want it to hold together at the tip of the nose. Now the belly has to be perfectly round. Back to Mrs. Mapula. She's creating that fold-in ear shape. Now she's going in and drawing and tracing where she wants everything, creating the cheeks and her belly. She's keeping her shape folded so that she can see where she wants everything. I'm coming in to draw some ears in the top of the head for a sweet little deer, a winter deer. I'm making little triangles to know where to cut. Now that we've outlined our animals, it's time to cut out their shapes. So for our evergreen, I tried a technique of folding the toilet paper roll in half so that I have symmetry on each side. This was very difficult to cut with the scissors, so Rio wasn't able to do this technique. So instead, for Rio's, we just did triangles on either side so that she could cut them out. Now I'm going to unfold my tree and clean up those little spaces, those little stubborn pieces of cardboard that didn't want to come off right away. So just cleaning those up, kind of pulling them off, coming in with my scissors and making those lines a little sharper. And then voila, when I unfold it, my evergreen will stand up. Miss Mapula decided to color before she cut, which is totally fine, and it's a great order of events. Rio and I just did it a little bit differently. So she already has her colors on her creature as she's cutting out her ears and the top of the head. Remember, be mindful to keep parts of your toilet paper roll connected so that you're not splitting it up. You want to make sure you keep certain parts connected to keep it whole, both halves together. And I especially thought about this when I was cutting out my porcupine nose. I really wanted that nose to be a point of connection with the toilet paper. So I cut the nose, I cut out the foot, and then I made a big circle cutout for the belly. And that way the nose is part that's holding it together. So think about those point of contacts. What's going to hold your toilet paper roll together? Now Miss Mapula is cutting out her little cheeks, her chin of her sweet little fox. And then she's folding it back in. You will need to unfold the ears in order to cut it so that you can keep it flat. And then you can always refold the ears back. Now I'm just cutting little triangle slits so that the head is a point that stays together for my deer. And then I'm going to cut out the ears and round and shape the head a little bit. And here are my creatures. I'm going to put in the ears from our little fox as well. And now for my absolute favorite part, coloring it in, adding all those fun details. For the supplies, it's artist's choice. You can use whatever coloring materials you want to use. For the evergreen trees, Rio and I used green paint. Once we painted the tree, we set it aside to dry to then come back and add more detail later. Mrs. Mapula is using markers, and I think these are chalk markers, to create her creatures. She did a really good job using the chalk markers and adding all those little dots of fur, and the chalk marker looks really good on the cardboard. Then she's coming in with a Sharpie to add some more details. Remember, you can color your animal however you want. Be creative. For the porcupine, I used oil pastels. Those also worked very nicely on the cardboard. I made a white belly and I used a brown oil pastel and blended it in with the cardboard for the body of the porcupine. Miss Mapula is making her fox now with that pretty white chalk marker. It looks really good on the cardboard. I came in and used some of our own chalk markers too. Now this is just an opportunity to give you guys some ideas of what we can use. You can use whatever materials you want. Be creative and think about how you want your creature to look. By the time I finished my deer, my tree was dry, so I came in with that white chalk marker to add some snow. I sent Rio outside to get a leaf to be the spikes for our porcupine. And we just glued the leaf right onto the back of the toilet paper roll to act as the spikes. Mrs. Mapula used masking tape and some twigs to create some antlers for her deer. It looks like the masking tape worked really well to hold those twigs in place. Rio got me some sticks as well from outside. We tried to hold our sticks with glue. The glue took a long time to dry, but it did hold it once it dried. In the future, I probably would try to use hot glue. Mrs. Mapula is making a little tail for her fox. Super cute. Now it's time to display your artwork.